All right. So first things first, you played Gnar in all 3 games, and you looked pretty good in game 1 and 2. So is this something you guys have been practicing, or did you just kind of like were you feeling it today?
It's just the top lane pick basically. It's like one of the staples right now, especially when you look at other regions. So yeah, it's just normal top lane pick.
Because it feels like a lot of your champ pool is a lot of these like unorthodox champions. Like I mean, you played Udyr previously, you played a lot of like interesting champs. So would you say this is like something that you said it was like kind of like a meta champion, but
Yeah.
is this something you felt like gave your team an advantage? Is this something like you feel like suits your team's playstyle well, or is it just like a strong pick?
It's like maybe all of those. Just like it's just a strong pick. It fits our team well, and I'm just exceptionally good at it.
So I mean, today you looked really good on it. Was this like more of a nature of the matchup? Do you think Bwipo just underperformed? Like, what do you think happened? Because I think first game he had like 7 kills or something, which usually doesn't happen for Gnar, but
I think he didn't know exactly how to play the matchup. So after I played in game 1, I was feeling pretty confident to do the exact same match in game 2, and as expected, it was like in my head it went pretty similar to what I thought he would play like, and I was able to have a lot of impact for game 2 as well.
yeah, for sure. And I think FlyQuest is a team that a lot of people consider like top 3s, like TLC9 are like 1 and 2
Yeah.
interchangeably, and then FlyQuest is 3. Did you guys feel like underdogs coming in, or was your focus just like on yourself and your own?
Our focus was mostly on ourselves. We have been practicing like super hard after the break, and I think our level of play has gone drastically higher, and it's very noticeable. So we weren't even going with an underdog mentality. We just wanted to win as a team together.
So you mentioned you guys have been working super hard. What were the conversations like once you realized it was like do or die? Because it's obviously probably pretty stressful. So what are like the conversations behind the scenes like for, in practice or leading up to the game?
We got the stressful parts out after our break. We had a lot of time. It was like 3-4 weeks of practice. So we managed to get it out before like the impending doom of not making playoffs, because I think we all felt it before then. Like before we knew for certain that we had to win some games to make playoffs or not. So basically we got it out early. So after we lost the energy, 0-2, we weren't like still super stressed about like playoffs or not, because we already knew going into it that it would be kind of that do or die scenario. So for the games after that, we are not too stressed about it. We're just still focusing on like practice and how to get good practice and make good improvement and work as a team still.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier a couple questions ago that you guys have been playing considerably better, and I think most of everyone would agree. So what were like the keys to improving that play style and performance on stage?
I think it's just mostly finding like this team identity and how we want to play together, and a little bit about like meta picks and stuff, or not like meta picks, just like our team picks, I guess. But we pulled out some interesting picks so far, mostly from mid lane, and a little bit. I mean, I played Pantheon like 1 game.
Yeah, that was a pretty spicy game.
Yeah. So I just think our starts are just usually kind of bad. For Shopify, we have had like 2 splits, but our starts are always like 0 wins, 4 losses kind of thing, and we just need more time to get into like the groove of knowing how we want to play and how we can win.
Yeah, because it feels like a lot of your games are like really long. I think there was a series against NRG. There was like multiple like 45 plus minute games. That was like really hard to like endure. So like when you're going through something like that, how are you able to keep your focus as a pro player? Because I mean, I'm sure everyone at home can relate to like 45 minute solo queue games. You start losing focus.
Yeah.
How do you keep your vision clear in those kind of games?
For me, I just try to realize if I'm like stressing about it like too much, like by breathing it like getting heavier, and like I'm not getting enough oxygen. So I just try to like get a breather, just take a deep breath, like take it slow, and then just see the game again. But I think what also helps is like in the team comms, everyone just like we all recognize like this is like a long game, and any like momentary lapse of concentration can win or lose the game. So even in comms, we're like they keep focusing, guys. Like we just need to do this, and then like stay calm. It's just Baron. Like 1 minute, like, and we can still talk about stuff like that as a team. I think those 2 things are the most helpful for staying focused.
Yeah, for sure. And for a lot of people who don't know the lore, you actually took a brief break from competitive a few years ago, and you kind of worked your way back into it. So it was like a whole like a document you released. But for those who are getting into LCS more recently, what was your main motivation for wanting to come back to pro play?
I think my main motivation was just that I had too many regrets if I just left right after, because it was I was on Dignitas for first year, and then after the spring split, we didn't make playoffs, and then I basically got kicked, but I also I don't think I knew if I wanted to play then too, but I thought it'd be a shame if I just left without trying a little more, and that's it really.
Yeah, and you played your way up through challengers, C9 challengers, and then DSG. So kind of run me through your experiences on both of those teams, because DSG has produced a lot of not only LCS players but a few coaches as well. So run me through the experience on both C9 challengers and also DSG.
C9 Challengers was really fun. I'm still with DSG, but it was a team that I didn't expect to get on when I wanted to play again, because I saw them as the best team, because there's the academy system, and the C9 Academy was always really top tier. So I was super happy when Jack contacted me and gave me the offer to join. So I was super motivated. I still but I was super motivated then, because it was the team I didn't expect to get on, and it was my comeback team, and it was just a really good experience. And I didn't realize how close C9 Challengers was to the main team. We were basically in the same house, in the same area, and we could borrow a lot from seeing the main team practice and talking to them. So, and then we won. That was great. For DSG was also great too. It was a little weird though, because the scene at the time was very uncertain, especially for a challenger, because they removed the requirement for LCS teams to have a secondary team. So it was essentially all offline, and I actually have really bad home ping. I had 72 ping
I remember this
from home, so I asked Jack if I could borrow one of the houses just to play, and he let me. So I had 45 ping instead, because they were Chicago servers.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of weird, because I was just alone the whole time, except seeing the C9 members, of just going home after games just to take a break and then just coming back. But it was a lot more fun towards the end, because we did a mini boot camp 1 week. We all went in person at C9 House, and then we played on stage for finals, and that was one of my best experiences actually. It was just the culmination of the whole season, and then we won. So obviously I remember fondly.
Yeah, for sure. So
yeah.
You mentioned earlier how when you first came back to C9 Challengers, you were super motivated. Does your motivation ever dwindle or change when you face struggles? Obviously Shopify, you still have, I think, 1 or 2 scenarios where you can make playoffs, but it's looking pretty grim. Do you ever lose motivation, or do you still have that drive to be one of the better tops of the night?
For me, it's definitely a roller coaster, I guess. It definitely goes up and down a lot for me. I think that's one of my problems, is that I'm very sensitive to those feelings. So sometimes I could be legit the best top laner in the world, just really confident in anything I do, just helping, and I'm just doing everything. And sometimes I just get in my head, and I just feel I don't know if I'm good enough. And then if you go into that mindset on stage, then you're gonna play you're not good enough, and then it'll be really obvious. So what was the original question?
The original question was does your motivation ever dwindle? Does it
it definitely dwindles and just changes a lot. And this year is kind of a struggle, honestly, especially with Shopify. It's my 3rd or 4th time coming back to LCS, and it depends on how you define it. Maybe each split could be one, but I've actually been in LCS quite a bit now, and
previously 100 Thieves.
And I even told myself that I've gotten a lot of chances for LCS, and if this doesn't pan out well, then I'll probably I recognize that I probably won't be back to LCS. Let's say if we just lose and it's just a flop. So but yeah, I just try not to let that affect me too much. And having a good support in the team, and like support staff and like coaches and even like teammates, like just feeling as a team together helps a lot with those feelings of inadequacy, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. So in the event that, just like to shift your focus towards, I guess, next year, what are like your own personal goals? Like, is there certain things you strive for individually as a player? Like, what are your goals for next year?
I don't like thinking too much about like the past or the future in terms of keeping that like my mindset stable. But if I were to think about it, just I'm not sure really. It's just I think for me, I just want to keep trying like my best in the present.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe we 2-0 100 Thieves and we can make it like the 5th spot of playoffs, or maybe we just lose and just. For me, I'll just see what happens after I try my best.
So you're very much like a live in the moment kind of thing?
This was like something that I thought was the best way to look at things after my break. Because before my break, really, I was way too into like the past, really, like too much regret whenever I look back to my careers or through my career, because I only had like one big win before on the scouting grounds, like my first ever event. And then when I look back, it was just like a sea of losses, and it just made me feel really like terrible, I guess, about my career as a player. And that's like part of why I felt like I couldn't play again or play more. Like that's why I took the break. So yeah, for me, I like to try my best right now in the moment, and then just whatever happens in the future just happens. So it could be like anything. Maybe I just like, maybe I get another spot, or maybe it's like another region. Like I don't know. Okay, probably not. I don't know if I would like play in another region, but or maybe I like be an assistant coach or something, like a positional coach. That was always like something I thought about that I could do, because I feel like I have a lot of knowledge about helmet. But I'm not sure my personality fits. Or maybe I just go back and just do a secondary retire, but it's like with a little less regrets in the end. You know?
It's still up in the air. Like, would you say you're glad you came back and tried it?
Yeah, I'm definitely glad I came back and I'm playing right now.
Yeah.
It was actually really fun on stage after our second game win. It was like I felt the energy in that moment for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't usually feel the energy as much because I'm not a super standout player. But I felt like for those games 1 and 2, game 1 we lost, but I felt like game 2
you were happy.
I was definitely doing a lot there.